Hi, Jackson. Hey, here's a tool that Next already has in its library. It's the staffing model, and the staffing model is scalable based off of revenue. So you're looking at the revenue build tab down here, and then it has staffing assumptions, the positions, and staffing. I'm going to just kind of walk you through how this is going to scale up from, let's say, a $1.8 million revenue company all the way up to about a $42 million company. I can go anywhere you want to, but that's kind of where I went. But just to give you an idea, here's your number of, let's say this company here has 4 HVAC techs, HVAC service tech 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 HVAC install lead. So the assumption is 200,000, and these can be changed. This doesn't change the staffing, but it just changes the revenue of the size of the company. So let's say 200,000 per technician. In the beginning, for this one, I'm going to put $1 million for a lead. As we get into the other ones, it becomes more of a mature department. It's going to be closer to $1.5 million for an install lead. But for right now, this company here is going to have $1.8 million in it. So then when I look at the staffing plan, click over here on staffing plan, you can see that here are the positions. Column G is giving you the positions we need, and it's our job is to fill these positions. So I need a CSR. So I took that CSR 0.667, plugged it in here. A dispatcher. A dispatcher is 84% capacity. That CSR is 67% capacity. And then accounting, taking over the trade administrator spot. And then these duties down here, AP, AR, payroll, HR. So they're basically at this level, you need about a 42% person. Now you look over here now at the owner activity. He's wearing several hats, from CSR manager to trainer, to install coordinator, install manager. So he's wearing a portion of a hat for all of this, and that's going to represent 74% of his time, with 26% of his time to work on that business. Now this would be a makeup of a company with 4 techs and 1 install crew. And more than likely the owner is the salesman in this one, because I have no salesman in this, so he's wearing a salesman's hat here. When you look at the org chart, it pre-populates the percentage of the people that it needs in each position here. Okay, it gives you the 4 service techs and the 1 install lead. Okay, and that's going to give you a head count of 7.69 folks, or 8 people in this. So I populated the titles up here. So this is an 8 employee company with 3 in overhead, basically 2.69, 4 service technicians, and 1 install crew, and 0 salesmen, because the owner's basically wearing that hat in this company. All right, so I'm going to take you to the next one then, and let's see if I can pull that up here. Just scale it up to the next one, and we'll do a 19. So I'm going from 8 to 19 employees. Let me pull that one up. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay, so that's a 19 member company right here. Oh, where the heck are you, dude? There you go. Oh, I gotta slide it over. I apologize. Okay, it's on my other screen. So now here's a company that now has 5 service technicians and an install crew. They do have a salesman now, and they also now have 5 plumbers. So with the assumption of 300,000, so it's a $4 million company. 300,000 for the plumbing service tech, 200,000 for an HVAC service tech, and 1.5 million for an installer. That's a $4 million company. That's a total of 11 people, including the 11 people do not include the salesman in this head count. It's just your productive staff up here, and the helpers I'm not counting as a head count in this. Okay, because the helpers are just 1-to-1 ratio into the install team. Anyway, so there's a model of revenue. Now let's look at what the staffing plan looks like for a $1 million company. Now you've expanded it out to account for more people, because you've got 10 techs, a salesman and install crew. So you need 1.67 CSRs. So I got a CSR here and CSR manager. CSR in here, but now somebody has to act as the manager. So now this person is acting as manager, took that hat off the owner from the previous one. And now dispatch, that dispatcher's fully loaded at 111%. Okay, and they can be stretched to about 120, 125 in this thought process. Now, there's a whole story that I have about a guy stretching one of his people out to 236%. That didn't go so well for him. Let me bring this thing down so we can see it. Okay. I got trade administrator 0.4, so that's right here. So basically my trade administrator, who has a direct line, dotted line to the financial department, is over here. So they're underweight. They're not being utilized as much right now to have a full-time trade administrator, but at least your paperwork's getting processed and things are starting to understand how to do this with one person. Okay, and then and as you can see from the 8-person one, where the hell's he at? Here he is. Who was doing the trade administrator job over there? Your dispatcher was. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, your accounting person was. Your accounting person was doing that trade administrator work. So that fell in the accounting department. So I basically took that off of the accounting department in this one. So I'll go back to the 19 employee. And now accounting department is 60% here. It could be argued that, hey, we could just throw this back up here on the accounting department for the trade administrator. And you could do that. We could put in a 0.4 up here and put a 0 in here. Okay, and now that accountant is 100%. But if you're wanting to, they're getting to 100, and as you grow, you might want to start bringing out a trade administrator to teach them how to segregate that off, because it's going to process all the information from the service department. So you could do it either way. So you have options here, because these two people add up for one person. So they could do it, okay, but they'd be at 100% capacity. So I broke them out just to show that you can break them out. But bottom line is, this thing just is, this is the algorithm that created for the staffing that comes in from here. And it's pretty pure. So basically you're going to have 10 techs, an install crew, and a salesman. And now you're looking at the owner over here. Now he's wearing 86% of a hat. So he's working 14% of the time on the business, 86% in the business at this point. Because here's the hat he's wearing. He's basically, because he has one salesman, he's the sales manager. He's the install coordinator, because I only got 2 of them. And he's the install manager as well. He's also taking care of the marketing, he's the operations manager, he's the finance manager, and he handles the IT. So these are all the positions that he would have. He has that portion of it. But the key here is this column here has to be a 0. So you fill it in here or you fill it in here for this to come to a 0. And that tells you, this will scale it up by head count, how many people you need, based off of your production. Right? So now this is a 19-person company. And so your management, to focus in on the management, right now at this point, I need 0.83% of a manager for 10 technicians. Now, that doesn't mean I don't need a full-time manager. I do need a full-time manager. But he's only 87%, 83% efficient wearing that manager hat. So he can take on more people, basically. So I've given him the trainer hat, too, to make him closer to 100%. So he's now the manager and the trainer, so he's handling both of those jobs at that point. So as you scale this up, those are going to separate hats. You'll need a trainer and you'll need a manager as well. Okay, so let's take it up to the next step up from 19 to, so we got here 28 people. Okay, so now the revenue for 28 is going to still on 19. Close 19. Close 8. Where the hell's 28? Come here, silly shit. Oh, I gotta drag it over again. You'd think I'd learn. Yeah, it'll take a while, Jack. Okay, so now I got a $6 million company. Went from a 4 to a 6. And basically added one install crew here, one install crew for the plumbers. Got, I don't know, what is that, 7 plumbers, 7 HVAC techs. I got a plumbing salesperson or a camera tech now, and I've got an HVAC person. So I got 16 people in the field. Come up here to the staff. How do we staff this? So you can see that this is starting to expand. And we've got all zeros down here, except for this one. For some reason, I didn't click on that 0. Give this guy 0.16, 0.16. 0.16. Needs to be a 0.18, 0.168. All right, now it's a 0. Okay, so I need 3 CSRs basically. I need 2.3, so I got a full-time and a full-time, and I need a third, and I got the manager plugging in here as well. So my manager is at 62% efficient for my call center manager. My dispatcher, I got a full dispatcher and a half a dispatcher. I got 1.6. I need 56% of a trade administrator, so that person's job just grew from 40% to 56%. Service manager, I need 1.7. Okay, 1.16 service managers based off of that many techs, so he's at full bore. And you can see I took the training off of him, and I gave the training to the sales manager. So now we have a dedicated sales manager, and he's at 104%. Took that off of the owner. All right. And the owner is wearing more capacity in the operations now, the finance, and the IT position to make him 73% in the business. 73% is reading it from there. Yep. Okay. Then I got a warehouse manager. Took that off. Now I got 104% for a warehouse manager. And accounting is now at 89%. So you can see this starting to scale up with as the staff count gets larger, how far the staff can be pushed. Okay, so ideally we'd like to see this close to 100% for everybody, but at some point you just know you're growing into a position here. You're growing into a trade administrator position here. And that could still be shared by accounting over here, but then you'd overload accounting if you put the 0.560 over here and you put a 0 in here. You know, now accounting's at 145%. So it'll show you when you start getting overloaded with a position, which is a pretty cool tool. All right, and so that is the, oh, let me come back over here to the org chart. So that's going to show you you've got 27 head count, you got 9.5 overhead folks, you got 14 service techs, 2 installers, and now you got 2 sales reps. All right, and now let me take you to the next one. And let's drag that one over here. As I remembered, oh, that's 155. I don't want to drag that one over. I want to drag the next one over. Where's he at? I was at 28. Let's go to 35 employees. 35 is over here. Don't need to drag that over. So now I'm at 9.3 million. So I've got 9 plumbers, 2 sewer crews, 8 service techs, HVAC, 2 install crews, 2 salesmen. Okay, should have 2 install techs here too, or camera techs in here too. So I'm doing this. Okay, so that's going to show me some variance now in my salespeople. Anyways, as the thing starts growing now, it starts growing. We got to bring this thing all the way down. Got to put this column in zeros, so I'm a 0.3 off here on zeros. So I got to make this a 0.833. That'll bring that to a 0. Sales lead coordinators. Sales lead coordinator position is now over here. And I need to bring this to a 0.667. 0.667. And the sales manager is 1.6, it's 0.33. Sales manager, so the sales manager is right here. Make him a 0.333. Back to 0. And then I got fleet manager is 0.151. So you can see it comes down to 0. Did I do that right? Nope, needs to be 0.270. 0.27. Now it's at a 0. And operations manager now is the owner, and he goes to 0.292. And the payroll clerk now goes to 0.404. 0, and then HR jumps to 0.408. There we go. 0. Fleet 0.239. And IT, the owner, because he's so good at IT. He's handling that. So now you can see I've got all zeros here. So now here's my head count that I've got full. So I've got 3 CSRs and a CSR manager only at 35% capacity. So it could be argued that these two people could still be the same person. Okay. At that point, now I got dispatchers. Here's my 2 dispatchers now. Got a trade administrator now at 68%. Got a service manager now at 88%. Got my second service manager at 87% because I have multiple. I basically split up my service managers by department now at this point. Now I've got a sales manager who is now wearing 126% of a hat. So what's going on there with him? What hats are he wearing? Is he wearing? He's wearing this hat, and this hat. So he's acting as a sales manager and the sales lead coordinator, and that would make up 100% of his time. But now we've added an install manager job onto him at 0.26% of his time. Well, I can't give any more to the owner because he's at 98%. So this guy's stretched out to 126. Now my choice would be I could add an install coordinator, but he'd only be 26%. So right now I'm going to ask the sales manager to step it up in stretching to 126. Okay, knowing that he's stretched. Okay. Now the runner, I got some warehouse runners in here, so I got basically a full-time runner now. I got a warehouse manager who is 81%. Could I give that warehouse manager this? Probably not. Probably not the right skill set. I got an AP clerk that's at 40%, and I got an AR clerk, so I separated that out between the two. The sooner I can separate AR and AP, the better off I'm going to be, at least for checks and balances on the financial statements. I don't want my person collecting the money and depositing the money to be the same person. But in the beginning, you have to do that, so the service manager or the owner is still the finance manager to double check that process. Okay, so this is a 35 company that has a head count of 37. They have 17 technicians, 4 installers, 4 reps. Okay, and their revenue is at 9.3 million. I'm going to take you to the next one. That was 28. So I'm going to take you to 35. I think that was 28, right? Oh, that was 38. Okay, 38 head count. I'm going to take you to 51 employees. here. That was 35, so this is 51. Now 51 employees, you went from 9.3 to 14 million. Okay, and we expanded our service techs to 12, our plumbers to 12, our install crews and the installation went from 2 to 4, and I went to 4 salespeople. Okay, so now I'm at 14 million. So now my staffing plan is showing me, I got all zeros in this one, that I need 4 CSRs, and I got half of a service manager, customer service manager in here. I'm also seeing now that my owner is pegged at 100%. Okay, because he's 30% in the marketing, he's wearing the operational hat, and he's the IT guy. So, you know, do you want to push that off and outsource that? That's fine. Those are decisions that the owner needs to understand where he's spending his time, and because he's got no time right now to work on the business. So this could be a reason why they unload this, or they unload an operations manager piece, or find somebody to do their marketing for them. But at least it identifies what the owner's activity actually is, right? So I come over here, I got a manager here, CSR manager. I've got 2.67 dispatchers. Okay. I've got a full-time trade administrator. They can process that many tickets. Service manager, I got 2 service managers. I've got 1 trainer now. He's 48% capacity, but it took it off the hat of the service manager, so he's full-time training. I got the sales manager now just doing the sales lead coordination and sales management, and I hired that installer. Now he's 80% efficient because I added 2 crews for him. I've got a runner. I got a warehouse manager now. He's 96%. I got AP clerk who's also doing my payroll or my HR. They're at 111. And I got my AP and AR clerk. I wanted that reversed. I wanted AR to be 0.3 over here. I don't like them having the same hat. And accounts payable and payroll to be the same. Put a 0.557 in here. And now that person's a finance manager. So there were 100, I gotta take this piece off of that person. So they're 86%. This person now is 119% because I took that off the manager, took that off the owner. Okay, so now it's over here because the owner just can't take on anymore. Now you're at a point here where you stretch this person, and as you grow to the next level, you're going to have to add some folks. Okay, so what this does, this is a 51-person company. There's 17 overhead employees. Got 24 techs, 6 installers, 4 sales reps. Okay, now let's take you to the next one. And that was 53, 51. Let's go to 70 employees. I take it up to 173, so bear with me. If you want to turn it off and rest from my voice, I totally get that. I would too. I know my wife does anyway. So now I got 17 plumbers, 16 HVAC techs, 2 install crews, 6 install crews for the installation department. I got 6 salespeople now. Okay. So now I'm at 19,300,000. I got a total of 41 field people. I don't count salesmen in my field people. Okay. So now let's go through here again. I need 5.5 CSRs. There it is. See how it scales up. Now my manager, he's got 6 people basically doing 70% of a manager's job right now. Okay. And I scale this over, scroll this over. And I need 3.6 dispatchers now. I got them. I got a full-time trade administrator who can process all the tickets from those 2 departments. That one person can process how many people? Can process 33 invoices in one day. Okay? And that's the algorithm that we came up with. Trade administrators, 1 out of 25. I got 33. That should be reading more than that. Take a look at that algorithm. Find out what. Oh, it is. It is 1.32. So somebody else is wearing that 1.32, and let's just see who's wearing that 0.32. It's probably over here in accounting. Accounting AR jumped up here and picked up that other 0.32. Okay, so 1 out of 25 techs a trade administrator can handle 100%. So they're going to do, they basically took 100% right here, and now the accounting department took the other 0.32, and they're back over this way somewhere. All right, so just coming down the line, still got 2 service managers. I got a 66% trainer. I got a sales lead coordinator full time now because I've got more salesmen. I got a sales manager. 50% of his time is being done as a sales manager because he's only got 6 salesmen. Okay. Install coordinator is now at 106%. So basically I took that sales lead coordinator position off of the sales manager because he's got more people to work with now. Okay, so he can spend more time working on his sales staff, acting as a sales manager, but he can still have more salesmen because the algorithm for that, for the salesman, for the sales manager is 12. 12 salesmen will round out a sales manager. That'll basically peak him out. Okay. I'm actually using my history on that, this algorithm basically, plus verifying it with some other members. Anyways, got install coordinator, got fleet manager here, warehouse runner. So it just basically shows the staffing positions that we need so that people can understand the staffing levels they're going to need, not just management, but also non-management folks that they're going to need and how many they're going to need to put in there. Okay. But that's the owner's job. Now the owner, because the business is now he's got managers in place. He's 61% and he's back down to 39% working on the business, 61 in it. Primarily duties is marketing, 14% of his time, or that should be a 0.41. 0.41, sorry about that. He's 88 and 12% in this business. So he either needs to work more on the business, because right now he's 12% on and 88% in it. Holy crap, what happened here? 477.477. Okay, that's a 0. And I have to bring these zeros back out here too. And these zeros need to be 0.758, 0.758. This needs to be 0.766. And this needs to be 0.58. Okay, so you can see the percentage of the capacity that they have. Okay, your runners are 100% right now. But everybody else is underweight right down here on the accounting piece. But you got more of them. So that finance manager, this person here, is overseeing. Need 45% of a true finance manager, like a controller person, I could call that person as well. So with that said, that's coming up to 70 people. You got 33 techs, 8 installers, 6 sales reps. Okay, I'll take you to the next one. If you're still listening, I've got 70 head count. So let's go to 94 and bring it on over. All right, so now I got 20 plumbers, 18 HVAC techs, still got 2 crews, and now I got 10 install crews. And I've also now added 5 electricians. And I've got 8 salespeople. Okay? I could have more, but I just put 8 in there. If you had more, you'd put them in there, obviously. And I probably should put the 2 up here, but I'm not going to change the algorithm I've already done. I've already set this plan up for this one, I think. So anyways, everything should be a 0. Yep, it is. So now you're seeing you got 7 CSRs, 89% of the CSR manager is intact. Everything's a 0 over here. This shows us the head count that we actually need. Dispatchers. I got my dispatchers 4.78, 778. Trade administrator 100% again, but I need 172. So where's that 72 at? Still back over here with accounting. Okay. Now this person here on the AP clerk is overloaded. They're at 127% right now. So we got to be thinking about getting a full-time trade administrator to help out over here. Okay. Or because if you can't, because when you look at the accounting positions for AR, I don't want to combine it with the AP. Okay. And I don't have anybody else that really has room to handle it from the payroll clerk or the HR clerk. So I just don't have anybody do it. So this person's stretched out. Okay. I might have 2 people do this now, but then they'd only be at 63.5% if I did that each. Or I could just lean on a heavyweight. Okay. But those are options. That's the beauty of this, is that it gives you the visibility, and it's your call. You can make that call. The owner can make their own call, what they want to do here. So anyway, this thing just scales it out, and it just lays it out up here by position of who's doing what and how many people they need, or tells you right here. So you could exchange these position titles for names. You know, Bill, Sally, George, Jack, Jim, Scott. Take my name out of there, because I don't think I fit anything in here except for, let me see. Oh, yeah, I fit this one. The 0% owner in the business. I'll work 100% on it, Jack. From the neck up. You could probably relate. So anyways, this business here is a $28 million business. So let me take you to the next level. And next level was, this is 94. So now I got 153 is the top level. I think I took this to. Nope. I got 153. Let me see what I got here. Bring this over. 153. All right. So now I got a $42 million company. Okay. And I've got 90 folks out in the field and 12 sales people. Same rigmarole. You're just matching up the people, matching your staffing model up to this variance for your staffing requirements. Comes in to do this. So with that many folks, you need a ton of CSRs. You need a bank of CSRs. Basically, you need 12.5, right? Okay. And I got a full-time service CSR manager, and now I've added another half of a CSR manager because it's requiring me to. And dispatchers. This is what it's telling me I have to do. Okay. So this is actually a very good program that will help identify our members exactly what they need, and then populates it into an org chart, the next org chart, that shows them here who's doing what. Now I just bunched up the service technicians in here, but they could come over here to the revenue bill to find out they need 25 in here. Because this is what's driving the revenue. The frontline folks drive the overhead, okay? The key here is the more people you have out here, the more people. Nothing will change here if you change the dollars. That's not going to change how many people you need. What that will change, though, is what is your salaries as your gross pay goes. You know, at the top level, your salaries are only 8.8% with the owner taking $250,000. It's 8.29 with just the overhead people. Okay? Now that's just gross. That's not fully burdened. All right? So you can come to this tab here to find out, to make sure that you're, when we set this, and I took these pieces right out of the Nexstar, except for this one here. I kind of plugged that one because I thought it was low. Anyways, so I do have some of Jim in here, Jim's thoughts in here. what a person should probably make at the top end. So here's the other part of this too. So when they're wearing a portion of this hat, you come over here to the staffing model. Let's say that this person here is wearing 50%. Well, I'm only paying 50%. Because I only need 50% of a person over here. So I need to understand that if I'm paying $40,000 for that position, I'm overpaying. But if I'm paying the right amount, I'm going to be at this 8.29%. So it scales, it shows here, it basically pays everybody based off of the percentage of hat they're wearing. Like this, I wish you could see the top of it here. I think I can do that. If I freeze frame to this. I'm not going to bore you with my non-technical skills on this. Anyways, but this also shows you how much you're paying for the position, because it's set up based off of here, $40,000, and so on down the line. So they can change this. I went in here and I put in the Nexstar financial survey numbers for this, but then I tweaked it because I thought it was chintzy. For a full-blown guy wearing 100% hat as an install manager, so he's at full capacity. That's not just because he's managing 4 installers, but when he's at full capacity for an install manager, he should be making some good bucks. So an install manager, you know, he can manage 15 crews. So when he's at 15 crews, he's going to be making that type of money. Okay, but I don't want to pay him. I don't want to pay him that much money if he's not managing 15 crews, and that shows up based off of the percentage of my install manager that he makes. Install manager right here. So right now my install manager, so he's at a full 100%. So he is at, yeah, he is at 15 crews. So he is at 100%. So I would be paying him that. Okay, but that's kind of how this whole thought process came about. This came from, and then I talked to Nexstar members and got their staff and plugged them into this model. Nexstar members that were making good money, like Brother Bob, and I talked to Gold Medal Boys at the time, Steve Essick. I talked to Blendon Sons on this. I think there might be a couple other people that I talked to. Oh, I talked to John Conway about this when he was running his business. So I kind of went through this process just to kind of put sanity check behind it, and I think we're really close here. Now, could it be tweaked? Yeah, but that's fine. Tweak it. Don't give a shit. But I think for right now, this thing works and serves its purpose, and I think this serves the purpose for what you were looking for at different levels. If you're just focused on managers, we could just pinpoint this to managers, and I could hide some cells in here to just show the red for all the managers if you wanted to do that. But the back end, why you need the managers, because of who they're managing. Okay, and how many people they're managing tells you how many managers you actually need for this. So anyways, those are some thought processes, Jack. And there's 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes of your life you're never going to get back, brother. So Merry Christmas, and I actually enjoyed doing this process.